So this is a video that's going to show you how to do the gridding worksheet for a face. And so this is kind of my inner monologue basically. So when I'm looking at this picture, I can see that the grid does not go on that top part. So I just scribble that part out, as well as on the bottom. I don't want to accidentally draw those pieces because they're not in the grid. Now also I want to kind of outline different value changes or different objects, because trying to draw something realistically, I want to simplify it. And so that's how I have found best to simplify it. So I'm going through with a pen. You can do this with a marker, whatever. But basically I'm just outlining shadows, highlights, and just general objects basically is kind of what I'm using, because then all I need to do is draw what those outlines are. So once again, just simplifying what I'm actually drawing. So as I go through this, I go through square by square and just pay attention to the lines. I'm not drawing hair, I'm just drawing this line that's going almost from the corner up to the almost to the top corner, and then I kind of have this other little section that's going from the bottom, and it kind of swooshes straight up, and it doesn't go quite halfway over, it just goes part way over. But then the next swooshy up goes just up, it swooshes up into the right corner. Next one goes down, but maybe a third of the way down. Once again, like I'm just kind of coming up with like weird words and all that good stuff, but I'm just drawing the lines that are existing. So really not thinking about it as hair or eyes or nose or any particular object helps focus on the actual shape of what it is instead of trying to draw what we think we know. Now, sometimes you'll kind of see what I do here. I like to go row by row, but sometimes I'll kind of count down, because then it's like, okay, well, this is a pretty simple line straight down, and it goes down 4 boxes. So I'm going to count down 4 boxes, see where it ends, and I can see that it has a slight curve to it, but not a big curve to it. And so then I can draw in those lines and kind of cover a little bit more space in a little bit faster way. Now, that doesn't work for everyone, so you need to make sure that you do what works out best for you. But you still need to make sure that if something looks off, the chances are you need to go back to that box and make sure that what you have in that box matches what's in the actual photo. Now, eyes and eyebrows, noses, those are all things that a lot of times people screw up on, just because we're trying to draw them according to how our brains think they're supposed to look. Now, if you're looking at the eyes in the photo or the eyebrows and stuff, I mean, they don't look totally normal, and a lot of people think they look kind of creepy, right? And that's okay, because that's just how drawing faces goes. So you can see that this eye, right, it's only up in these 2 boxes. So it curves up and it goes barely into that line right below it. So I kind of hug that line, and really that's what an eye looks like, all right? That's the actual shape of it. So focus on that shape. Don't draw an eye just to draw an eye. Draw an eye how it actually looks, all right? And then you can see I kind of did some outlines for where the shadows were. The second eye gets a lot of people as well, because they think, once again, that it has to match the other one. Well, when your face does an expression, it does go off center a little bit, right? So your eyes, your nose, wrinkles, all those things, all those creases, they do different things, and that's what you're trying to capture here. But I'm kind of paying attention, like the eyebrows just about as long as the eye is, so I don't want to draw my eyebrow over farther left, but it goes right over that little crossing point, and then it arches up and gets thinner. And then once again, I'm not going outside that box, I'm just staying right there. Okay, so you can kind of see how I'm going about each of these sections. Now, fingers and fingernails seem to get a lot of people as well. So really make sure once again, you're looking at the shape. The side of the shape is really just kind of like a skinny oval almost with like a little bit of a flat edge. But that's all that it is, right? So focus on the actual shape. Don't try and draw your fingernails as if you're looking down at them. You're looking at them from the side, which looks different. So keep that in mind, that the angle plays a role in what the shape actually looks like. Now, bringing a nose to life is a weird one, right? So you need to make sure that you're actually looking at the values. If you look at what I'm drawing right now, that does not look like a nose, or at least not how we perceive them to be. So let them, like, actually pay attention to the shadows, see where the darker areas, see where the medium areas are. But yes, you're going to have some outlines, but it's the values that really make it look like a nose. And even like right now, it still doesn't look like a nose. And that's okay, because if you look at the photo, that's what it looks like, right? It looks kind of weird, and that's just what it does look like. Okay, so keep that in mind, that the nose doesn't usually look like a nose until you're looking at it as a whole thing. So trust the process. Keep going through, go square by square, go section by section, do what you need to do, but trust the process. Don't just try and rush through it and draw a finger how you think a finger looks, or an eye how you think an eye looks. Draw the shapes that are there, and your face will form to what it's supposed to be. So same thing as those other areas, this mouth, you can see that the lip goes just below that one line there. So you can kind of see I'm going right there, but it goes down pretty far. All right. Right now, it does not look like a mouth at all. All right. And that's, once again, fine. I'm trusting the process. The lip does not go all the way over to that hand, because you see a shadow. So you want to make sure you're drawing that shadow part, because that's gonna be what makes the mouth end up looking like a mouth. So same thing, trust that process. Even if it looks a little funny in the moment, you can always fix it later on. Now at this point, the mouth really doesn't look like a mouth. I'm not even sure what that shape is, but that is the tongue. And once again, those values are what's gonna make it look like an actual mouth. All right. The teeth, same thing. Okay, I kind of screw up here a little bit, so I end up having to erase because the shape's like what? But that's just how the teeth look. They're just kind of a shape right there. All right. And then the shading, once again, it kind of helps bring it to life. Now, you are not required to do the shading. I just do it because I think they look a little creepy without it. They look creepy regardless, but at least it helps provide a little bit of structure, and it helps kind of see that clarity a little bit. So if it's stressing you out, feel free to do some shading, but I'm just looking at those proportions. Are you getting the proportions accurate? Because that is the big important piece of gridding. So as I keep saying, trust that process, shade in what you need to make sure it kind of fits what it needs to be. If something is off, go back, count your squares, and make sure that you're drawing the correct things in the correct squares. They're gonna look a little weird, but you can do this.